Hey guys, welcome to our review of Kamen Rider 01, episode 20. As always, I'm your host of Frozen Stratos. Here with me today we have
The Cinder Blaze.
And Makotoa.
My dudes, welcome back. We got done watching this episode yesterday so that you guys could comment on it and we could comment on your comments today. But before that, we are going to dive in to our thoughts, and I just genuinely love this episode. The more this becomes a sort of character drama, the more I love it, which was very sort of a key thing with Build as well, because there's some really good drama in there. And even week to week, having only known these newer characters, Smile and Boss, they immediately endeared me to them, and just having this episode play out the way it did, absolutely loved it.
Yeah. To the build point, I feel like the strongest points for this series are like the characters that we meet along the way. Whereas build kind of just had that very strong internal cast.
That's
which
true,
build 01 also has, but it feels like that it has way too many holes. This episode, I was really disappointed in Yaiba just being really annoying.
Yeah.
And it's not
I'm sick of her. She's showing up just to say this
She's showing up to YA on everything.
She's like, the crowd of girls behind the mean girl that just backs up or repeats everything that the main girl says.
Yes.
And so
Bowser's the mean girl. Is the point you're making.
You know it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, the mean girls when you see them. Only shops at Forever 24.
Yeah.
That's the only joke I wanted to make. So we had some stuff with Fuwa, kind of noticing that Shroud-like character.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, no one else is sort of seeing that character. And the times that the audience, we saw that character, it was distorted. And I'm wondering, what if it's in his head somehow?
That is the weird thing, because there were points where, the character would show up and it was obvious this wasn't him seeing it. It was the audience seeing it. So I'm not sure about that. But then we also had recently where he was wigging out, going through a weird mental thing while he was seeing this person. So maybe you're right.
Well, here's my crackpot theory. What if it's in his head and he's actually that character? Right? He's going around physically giving people the raid rises, or the raid, whatever, the new driver things. And then, the times we do, when he was interrogating dude guy, Jin.
So he's also emulating a female voice. That's gonna be funny to see if it actually is true.
If Arrow can boop, and then change his voice, I'm sure just anything can happen. I don't know. That's just a crackpot theory I have, because it's strange the way that character has been presented so far.
Yeah, that theory doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't. It's not it makes enough sense, that it could be it's probably a 2% possibility that that's the thing. But
hey, 2%, I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'm milking it.
I feel I think one of the more not popular theories, but just another theory that's just kind of floating around is that he's also part of Metsubo Jinrai.net, because he might be part human gear or some weird thing like that.
He had surgery though.
That's but when
not completely.
He was the only survivor of Daybreak.
He bleeds too much to be a robot. He's always
he's
bleeding.
in dire straits too many times for him to be alive as well.
Whatever. I
It's
don't know.
Resilience. I like some could be in his brain or something that they don't know about.
Yeah.
The surgeons really only worked on his torso or whatever, not his head. I don't know. Just a thought I had.
I feel like 01 has a higher rate of or chance of being a robot than.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
You can't you can't get away from those allegations if you have a dad that was a robot.
Yeah.
Or a robot as your father.
Yeah. Like literally, like the only thing that can disprove that is like him having a mother and like an actual one. And knowing the plot twist of some of these shows, it could just be Isu. It's not the first time the writer chick was the mom of another writer.
Oh goodness.
Let's see. Another thing I wanted to touch on was the Raid Rise. I keep forgetting if that's like the real name. The human not riders. I love the idea that there are civilians that get powers, because like we get these one-off characters with their own agency that work not only to forward the drama portion of the episode, but to forward the action portion of the episode. So it feels like they're a bit more interconnected with the plot, you know, because usually, and you know, recently even, it's sort of been like the people of the week or people who need help of the week. Whatever you're typing there is very distracting.
Well, if we look back at Build, you know, regular civilians were used as guinea pigs to become the monster of the week, but they didn't have the control. They didn't get to decide, I'm going to do this because of my own personal gain or my own personal problem with this person or you know. And so it's a different take, and I do like it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, the way, sort of what I appreciate most is that they are turning what seems to be more of a passive character type in shows. Like, say, for instance, the manga writer or the manga artist.
The victim of the week.
Right, the victim of the week. I mean, he was just sort of passively there. Like, he had the problem that they needed to solve, but he didn't make any sort of active steps in either direction, like of helping or hurting the issue. And this guy can. He's affecting the plot in a way that I don't think I've seen before in writer shows structured this way.
I just kind of hope like that if we do have a couple more of these guys, that like their ego isn't as big, because that's been like a theme for these two, and I feel like that's like the thing that kind of promotes this type of behavior in the first place.
Yeah, they go off the rails way too quick.
Yeah, it's just like they're all like full of themselves, and like that they have like all that human pride, and I guess like those are the type of people that would be selected for that technology in the first place. So I guess it makes a little bit of sense, but
I mean, I have a feeling like it's weird. The last arc, the dude just sort of had amnesia, and this time he didn't, but he did cool down immediately. I'm wondering if there is just some sort of emotional or mental effect that the belt does have on people.
Or, you know, that thing that they strap to their heads.
Like,
that's connected to their freaking brain.
Yeah, that's probably what's like driving them into becoming more negative.
Yeah, I watched Spider-Man 2. I know what happens.
But yeah, also, Alex, you were distracting us with images and text before about the sad old man, and I loved that dude's story. It was such a good time, and the way Smile, you know, fixed it, and even showed Aruto what the meaning of selling a house is.
Ooh, yeah, that
Like-
was an interesting. That was an interesting, like, oh yeah, this protagonist's actually giving the wrong advice and has to step back for a moment
Yeah.
and let the machine tell him how to be human.
And check it
Yeah.
out, like, and it was teaching him in a way that, like, normally he teaches and nurtures other Humagears. So it's sort of showing that, like, not only are not only are they making Humagears more human, the Humagear are sort of making everyone else a bit more human and teaching them a lesson. You know, a dynamic I wasn't expecting, but I deeply enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like for that one, I think we got like a little bit of it beforehand or in the episode prior where Arto's kind of getting scolded for not like acting like a proper CEO, and like his company's like being threatened, and he kind of like said at this episode, he's just like, man, I was focusing too much on winning, you know, like because he had to prioritize the safety of his company and like all that stuff. But if he kind of like sacrifices the whole vision he had, because like honestly, like regular Arto probably would be like, you know, oh, what does he really want, and be like a bit more sympathetic to the old man's cause. Whereas right now he's a little bit like, oh, we gotta get the win,
Right.
gotta get the dub, sell him
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So that, and like that, was it the Carpenter old Humagear? That guy
Yeah,
just came in.
boss, I think.
Yeah,
Humagear Sentai.
like
Boss Sentai.
I mean, I guess that guy kind of came out of nowhere, but this, if he can just build like anyone's dream house, then just let him do his thing.
That's true. You wouldn't have any issues with, like, actually, yeah, that kind of breaks the, never mind. I guess we shouldn't talk about it. But yeah, and then the story that we did have with Whale Man, that was neat. That was very lovely. And it sort of lined up really well with the old dude and just, you know,
Yeah.
family and togetherness, and hey, maybe having a small home isn't a bad thing.
That was very touching.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Definitely hit home. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to say before we
Nope.
dive into the comments?
Nope.
All right, cool. So Double the Unknown says, pretty basic episode, but was definitely enjoyable with all the thematic elements that were incorporated. Next week, we get 2 former Sentai actors as guests, Tsurugi from Q Ranger and Yoko from Go Busters. Yay!
Oh, yeah, that's right, Sugarugi.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good time.
I know.
Naruhodo.
Yeah, I was falling asleep during that watch along, and I saw him. I was like, oh.
He rose again, much like a phoenix.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Guys, did you have anything else you wanted to say about this episode before we head out?
Yeah,
Mm.
that old
Cool.
dude, when he
Yeah.
was like talking to his little phone, which wasn't a phone, but he just looked
Yeah.
very, very sad, and I was just kind of staring at it for like the longest time. I was like looking through the episode. It's like, man, whatever.
I don't know. Yeah, no. My heart breaks for sad old people. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
Absolutely.
guys, on that happy note, thanks for watching. If you like this episode, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to hear more from us each week, tell us in the comments down below what you thought about our thoughts about your thoughts about this episode. And hey, keep it juicy.
See ya.
Later.
Hey, check it out. We're in the end card. This is a little thingy. The circle thing. It is subscribe to Soda Pop because we're back. Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Busy goodness.
Busy goodness.
Man,
Sold
this guy's
it.
like a highly